Hey guys, Tex here. Welcome back to the channel for our weekly watch list for next week, July 12th, 2021. So in this video, we're going to go over the market, just take a look at the technical analysis and see what's going on. And we'll look at our favorite stocks for some potential trade ideas as we look to navigate the market next week. So as usual, guys, if you're enjoying the videos, please make sure you hit the like button, leave me a comment below. And with that said, let's go ahead and roll the intro and get started with the video. All right, guys, so welcome back. Now, just a couple of pieces of news here. First and foremost, you probably noticed that the charts in front of you look very different from what I'm usually using. That's because this is the TradeStation platform. So they are a full-service broker, and they provide this comprehensive desktop platform that has kind of good reviews for the platform, but kind of mixed reviews in terms of executions. So I do want to try to give them a go here. I'm not getting rid of Lightspeed by any means. I'll probably always keep Lightspeed, but I just want to see if I can use a one-stop shop, because with Lightspeed, obviously the charts aren't the best in terms of features and capabilities. So you end up having to use third-party software for charts, and so I just want to see if I can get everything in one platform. That would be really nice. Apparently, it's kind of a lot to ask for, so I'll keep you guys posted here on the channel as I use the platform. If I like it, pros and cons of it, any tutorials that I can make along the way, I'll definitely share that information with you. Also, another piece of news, I did not make a end of week webinar because I have no open position. So it's kind of rare that that happens. But I just didn't see a whole lot of things I was really interested in putting swing trades on as we wrapped up last week. But I did close out some solid positions here. If we go and sort by closing date and just take a look at last week really quickly, just bear with me, guys. We'll look at this before we get into the watch list. I closed out $961.30, and a big chunk of that, of course, came from our Tesla ratio spreads that were carried over from the prior week that we finally closed out. So all in all, I mean, we're up over $4,000 on the journal just from our option swing trading. So really, really amazing results. Hopping over here to our performance screen, you can see that our taxable account, where we take a lot of those option trades, is up, $3,457. Still a little red here in the Roth account, but overall, doing pretty well. 3.8% return, net return on the taxable account, where the SPY in the same period of time has given a 9.7% return. So the market is still beating me, but obviously we're just getting started here. So it looks good. Very happy with the performance there. And again, just didn't really see the need to make a whole video since we don't have a lot to talk about in terms of open positions. All right, so jumping into our watch list, first and foremost, taking a look at the SPY here. Now look at this, guys. Last week on Thursday, the SPY had this big gap down here. We opened up below the 90 EMA. That's a significant gap, right? That's a significant gap down. We opened below the 90 EMA, but we were above the 20. So 90% of these big gap downs will get bought up, barring some significant negative catalyst. Like when COVID-19 originally happened, the market had those huge gap downs and then just continued to sell off, right? That's a different story. But in this case, the unemployment numbers were a bit of a miss, but I didn't feel like they were that bad. Plus, the selling started before those numbers even came out. So I think what it was overnight Tokyo said that they were banning all spectators from the Olympics because of rising cases of COVID-19 due to the Delta variant. So a little bit of concern with investors overnight, just getting a little weak-handed in terms of what the new variants might do, a little bit of fear there. And so we saw the big gap down. And like I said, 90% of these gap downs get bought up. And playing off of those odds, I took a stab long. I bought some naked SPX calls and started out really well, started to make money. We can go to the intraday chart on this, right? So you can see here, this is the gap down day. We got the first push higher here on the gap down, started to go green on the calls, and then we turned around and came down and broke low of day. I got stopped out, and then we came back up, so I got back in, but this time I traded futures, was able to make back that loss plus a little bit extra. But all in all, at the end of the day, I didn't walk away with very much money in my pocket because of the first trade that I took that I got stopped out on. So it wasn't super easy. The thesis was correct. The odds, the percentage of the odds of the gap down getting bought was correct, but the timing was off a little bit. So that's kind of the tricky part with trading sometimes, guys. You can be right, but a little bit off in your timing and still end up losing money. So Unfortunately, that's the way the day went, so I wasn't able to really capitalize from this huge gap down, but beautiful example of how 90% of these gap downs do get bought up. Now we come into Friday and just massive move higher here. I mean, if you ever were doubting the fact that the bulls were still in control of this market, I mean, Friday should have been the dead giveaway for you. I mean, look at these numbers here. When I'm talking about the tick distribution in the room, guys, look at the tick distribution here for the New York Stock Exchange and look at the tick distribution here on Friday for the NASDAQ. So when I say that the tick distribution is solid and building over the zero line, what I'm saying is that the majority of the candles here on the 15-minute chart for the tick are closing above the zero line, right? So if you look at where the zero line is, almost all of these candles are above it, right? And you can see these green triangles up here. These are indicating a candle that closed above the zero line. Look how many of them closed above the zero line compared to just a handful of candles closing below the zero line. And then look at the NASDAQ. Only 2 candles all day closed below the zero line. That is bullish. Look at the cumulative tick building nicely to the upside on both the NASDAQ and the NYSE. Coming over here to the sectors, every single sector green from the open, with the exception of utilities. Look at your breadth, 8-1, almost 9-1 on the NASDAQ, on the New York Stock Exchange, 4-1 on the NASDAQ. Those are really bullish numbers, guys, right? So the bulls are clearly still in charge, and there is absolutely no reason to think that this market can't continue higher. It is going to take a significant negative catalyst for this market to see any type of correction, and I'm just not seeing that anytime soon. The market will pull back, of course, but I don't think that we're going to have any kind of significant correction until really the Fed comes in and starts raising interest rates at this point. I think that would probably be the realistic catalyst that's going to see the market pull back. Maybe after earnings that are starting to come out here in the next few weeks, maybe once we get these earnings out of the way, then later this year, the market might finally see some type of correction. That would be perfectly healthy for that to happen. But as of right now, I just don't see it. And I see this bullish run continuing higher here, right? If we kind of move the chart up, you can see that 440 is on deck just overhead for SPY. And I definitely see that, as a realistic possibility for SPY to be targeting as we head into next week. You look at your weekly bar, nice bottoming tail here, closing up near the highs, probably looking for another leg higher. Let's go over to your Qs, your NASDAQ index. And this one is just a stone's throw away from all-time high. Really no reason to think that we can't get there as we come into next week. Again, just incredibly bullish here, just riding that 9 EMA up very beautifully on your daily chart. Going to the Dow, this one is still just a little bit away from the all-time high, but really nice recovery after we fell below the moving averages here. We managed to reclaim them, came back, kind of proved the hold of support here on the gap down day. We held the 20, we held the 50, and then Friday reclaimed the 9 and probably just, gonna beeline right up here to the all-time high. IWM, your small cap Russell 2000, bit of a more risk on type of index here. This one is continuing to chop in this range. We talked about the fact that when we were here, if we fell back inside of this range, it would really improve the odds of a move to the bottom side of this range. We've got a trend line here that hasn't been tested yet. We did fall back into the range, but we didn't fall all the way to the bottom of the range. We continue to get bought up and we continue to trade in this range. So right now, this is obviously still in indecision mode. It's just in consolidation mode. No reason to think that that's not going to continue for some time. Just consolidating sideways. And then I just want to take a quick look at bonds. We don't really look at bonds very much, but the reason I want to look at these is because obviously we've had this reversal of trend, right? Bonds have sold off significantly this year. We've had this reversal of trend. We've traded up here into the 200 moving average. We took a couple of stabs at butterflies to get it up here to 147, and we were just off on our timing, unfortunately, but it made the move that we were looking for, and now it is pulling back. So I just want to bring this to your attention because if bonds continue to rally and the market continues to push to new all-time highs, it could be a bit of a longer term warning sign of a potential pullback. So I just want to kind of throw that out there. But again, I'm not expecting that to happen. I'm sure the market will have some small pullbacks here and there. But if you see bonds really continue to rally and you see the market continue to put in new all-time highs, it could be more of a longer term signal of a potential bigger correction at some point. All right. So just something to keep in the back burner and kind of add to your market narrative. But as of right now, guys, I mean, I just don't see any reason why the market won't continue to push higher. All right, just a quick run through our sectors, right? Here's your technology sector, pretty much the same as the NASDAQ, sitting right there at all-time high. Beautiful trend, riding the 9 EMA all the way up. Go to your your healthcare sector, your second heaviest weighted sector in the index. It broke out of this significant, consolidation range here, big expansion higher, probably going to consolidate a little bit here, and no reason to think that this trend won't continue higher in that sector. Here is your consumer discretionary sector, new all-time high here on Friday, probably looking to continue higher there as well. Communications sector, nice bounce off the 20 MA and just a stone's throw away there from all-time high. Financials saw this pullback, significant pullback, I would add, below all of your moving averages, rounded back up into the 50 and the 20 overhead. I think we were talking about this the other week, how this was going to be immediate overhead supply. The question was, do we reject here or can we remount those? We did, in fact, reject, but however, look at this. We put in a higher low on Thursday on the day the market gapped down. We put in a higher low. That is, this low is higher than this low, and we rounded back up, reclaiming the 9 and the 20. So immediately overhead, we have the 50 SMA as overhead supply, but I think that if we come back up to it again here, we will probably manage to break out over that, and that would put all-time highs on deck thereafter. So financials look good to continue pushing higher here after this nice little pullback in the uptrend. Moving on to your industrials, this is a little bit less weighted sector in terms of the other sectors that we just went over. And you can see that we did see this weakness on the breakdown below the 50 MA. And so far, it has proven to be overhead supply, but we continue to test it and test it and test it. And eventually it's going to break. And Friday we closed above it. So maybe with technology having gotten pretty heated, maybe it kind of relaxes a little bit and consolidates, just trade sideways. We see that kind of rotation through the sectors. Perhaps more money will start pouring into, for example, financials and industrials and all of these other sectors that have already pulled back, and they might want to start pushing back up to all-time highs while technology kind of takes a little bit of breather. I think that's a distinct possibility. Again, this, reclaiming overhead supply, potential move back to all-time high there as well. Just a couple of other. Here is your consumer staples, typically your defensive sector. It continues to struggle with the 50 MA overhead. If we break that, it should be blue sky territory, or I shouldn't say blue sky territories, but if we break that, it should be all-time highs on deck thereafter. Utilities, this one definitely looks the weaker of the sectors. It's continuing this short-term pullback. So far, it did hold the 200 moving average here. And it looks like it may want to eventually round back up and break this short-term downtrend, but as of right now, it continues to follow that lower. Real estate, look at this. I mean, just a nice little U pullback, breakout to new all-time high. Same thing happened here, right? So real estate at this point just seems like nothing wants to stop this. It wants to continue higher, and that has clearly been the case. Just a couple more here. Basic materials. This one's not very heavily weighted in the index at all. Again, we saw that weakness here, similar to industrials. It is remounting the 20. So maybe it finds the legs to finally get back up to the 50 MA. If we start seeing that rotation through the sectors, that's a distinct possibility. And then lastly here, we have energy. Bit of a pullback throughout this bullish run. Completely healthy to see this. However, looking at your weekly chart, it is notable that we traded right up into the 200 moving average. So that's going to be pretty significant overhead supply, I think, for the energy sector. But I think that eventually it might still want to work its way up to 60, where we do have prior resistance, which was really the start of this huge sell-off that we saw last year in energy. Okay, so all in all, like I said, the sectors and the market internals all really supporting this move higher that we're seeing in the market, and no reason to think that that can't continue. All right, let's go ahead and jump into just a handful of the stocks that we like to trade. First up on deck is Apple here, okay? This is your prior all-time high. We had this nice little U-shaped pullback here, nice higher low holding over the 200 moving average, and really nice run up here into the all-time high. Now, this probably isn't going to be my top watch next week because of the fact that we've had this big run up into the all-time high. Normally, when we're trading underneath a super key technical level like an all-time high, I would be paying very close attention to this for a potential breakout higher. However, when you have this kind of coming up from the bottom effect, and now we are pushing up into a super key resistance level after this big run higher, it's more likely that if it does break over, it's going to fail and then pull back and just kind of consolidate here for a little bit before it can get ready for another run higher. Now, Apple, along with a lot of the other big names, will have their earnings coming out at some point this month in the next couple of weeks. So we are seeing this nice run higher as the run up into earnings takes place. And then I would expect to see some profit taking as we get into earnings. So just keep it on watch, guys. Just keep it on watch. Just be fully aware that any breakout over the all-time high, which technically Friday was a new all-time high, but any breakout over the all-time high is going to be at an increased odd of failing because of the fact that it's had this big run up. I think it needs to relax and consolidate a little bit before it can continue higher, but it doesn't mean that it can't, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. Amazon, this one is going to remain one of my top watches, right? Because you can see that it's traded inside of this range over here for a long time now. And so this is a significant macro breakout. So when we're looking at this, when something is trading, at new all-time highs and you're looking for a break above all-time highs, how can you figure out where it's going to go? Well, you can use Fibonacci retracements for that, right? So just kind of zooming out here, you can see that I drew a Fibonacci retracement from the all-time high back here, or the prior all-time high back here, to the low here. Okay, and so this is really the width, I guess, the height of the range that we were trading inside of, right? So if you draw your Fibonacci like that, and we kind of contract the chart, just bring it down like this, and we have basically the same thing repeated up here. So we have extension levels up here that basically duplicates this range up here above us. All right. And so right now we are trading into this first level here at 37.13. And this is where we're kind of relaxing for a little bit. I would not be surprised at all to see Amazon kind of relax. Maybe it pulls back just a bit more. Maybe it comes down into the 3680 area, or maybe down to 3650 still. Needs to let the 9 EMA catch up a little bit more to the price action here on the daily. But if it consolidates a little bit here and then it finds some momentum and breaks over the all-time high, that's going to be the key level, of course, to watch for the next leg higher. You've got 3,800 right overhead, psychological whole number, and that's going to bring you into about that 382 right there. And then above that, this one's going to be big. This is the 50%. So this is 50%. This is half of the distance of this entire range here. That's going to bring you up to 3,892. And then ultimately, I think Amazon probably wants to at least get up to 4,000. You've got the 618 sitting there at $3,973, and that is just shy of that 4,000. So I think ultimately Amazon probably wants to make a run at least to 4,000, if not higher. But for right now, that's going to be our upside targets. First getting to the 382, the 50%, and then the 612 up here around 4,000. And again, just keep the all-time high on watch. If we see a break over the all-time high with momentum, it could get there real quick. So maybe it wants to relax a little bit longer, but it's going to continue to remain a top watch because I don't think this move is over. This is a significant macro breakout, and I suspect it's going to continue higher from here. Okay, so Facebook, this one is just going to remain on the back burners. That usually always provides some type of an intraday setup. In terms of the daily chart, every time it comes down into this 20 moving average, it continues to get bought up, bought up, bought up. And so here, Friday, we closed over the 9. I would expect that any move over Friday's high of day probably moves us back into this range and maybe targeting the all-time high. And then we'll see if it wants to break out and continue over the all-time high from there. So just kind of keep it on watch on the back burner, maybe some intraday setups for a pushback to all-time high. And then we go to Netflix. So Netflix is one that I was watching as it moved inside of this gap here. And let me see if I can just put a drawing on here. Bear with me, guys, as I still kind of learn this platform. But there is a trend here just like this, and you can see that this trend line is where we rejected here. We did this kind of look above and fail on Wednesday and Thursday of last week, and we fell back below trend, and here on Friday we came back up into the bottom side of the trend and rejected again. I still like Netflix for more upside, honestly, from here. Not really looking at any downside. There is a downside gap that could fill here on any significant weakness, but I think this is just resting for a little bit before another leg higher. So First and foremost, we need to get back over this trend and we need to clear this high here around 544. If that goes, that really should open the door up to 560, where you have all of this prior resistance here. Really no reason to think that we can't get inside of this pocket here on Netflix as soon as we clear this trend and we clear the swing high here around 544. So kind of keep this pocket on the upside on watch for Netflix. 560 is going to be your ideal target there to the upside. NVIDIA. Now this one is obviously a little bit tricky because it's had this big run higher, so I'm a little bit hesitant to be looking at this for any longs. However, there is an upside gap here that could get filled, right? So the high of day from Thursday of last week is the bottom of the gap, and the top of the gap is going to be the low of day from that prior day. So there's a small upside gap here that might want to get filled on NVIDIA. So you could look at a possible trade idea long there and then leave a piece on to see if we have any move back up into this prior range. Otherwise, to the downside, if NVIDIA wants to prove, some weakness, maybe some people start taking profit as we head into the stock split, which is due to occur this month. Part of this big run higher here was people buying this up on the news of a stock split coming. And usually you would expect people to kind of take profits after that occurs. So I think that Thursday's low of day here around 788.03 is going to be key for any downside reference. If that goes, we could see a move down to the 775 to the 770 area. And that would also be lining up with your 20 MA to the downside. So watch Thursday's low of day for any potential momentum to the downside for a short. And then again, watch this upside gap for a potential long trade, and then, leave a piece on, see if it wants to get back up to all-time high. Anything is possible there, guys. So I'm more inclined to think to the downside. But again, if the market is incredibly bullish and pushing higher, it's going to be like swimming upstream here for NVIDIA to really sell off. It could just kind of consolidate or just slowly grind higher, right? So either case, it's not going to be something you want to be shorting. Okay, so Roku, this one was not able to get to the all-time high. Taking a look at the weekly chart, it's up there around 487. It's had this nice pullback here into the 20 MA and is bouncing. It might yet still want to get up to the all-time high. So just kind of keep this on watch. It's not going to be my top watch, but if the momentum is going to continue in this name, it might yet still want to magnet all the way up to the all-time high. So this swing high here that we pull back from is going to be definitely key to break above that for any hope to get to the all-time high. Otherwise, if we do break this short-term downtrend and we continue higher, I would expect at least prices to get closer to the swing high around 462 area. All right. Now, Tesla is going to be probably my second top watch for next week, because of the fact that we had this pullback off of the 700 level here, right? So prices the prior week came up into the 700 level and got stuffed hard. If we kind of zoom in on that price action, look how hard, look at this daily candle, right? This long upper wick came right up into 700 and then bam, I mean, sellers just smacked it down hard. Never seen anything quite like that to get rejected that hard off of a level like that and come all the way back down basically to the bottom of that range. The next day just absolutely fell apart, filled this downside gap that we had here and fell all the way back into your moving averages. You got the 200 MA here, you've got the 50 MA, fell all the way back into those, and the top of this breakout range right here where we found support and we rallied right back up into the 9 EMA. Okay, so I've got a Fibonacci drawn on here just to kind of get some mathematical levels. I drew it at the low here to the high here of this new short-term uptrend. So here's the question for Tesla. Can this short-term uptrend here turn into a longer-term uptrend? In other words, we have this downtrend that's been playing out for quite some time, right? We've put in lower high and lower high so far, okay? Now, if we look at this short-term uptrend, and again, just very short-term, we have higher low, higher low, higher low, okay? So now that we have had this pretty significant bounce off of all those moving averages, kind of that 620 area, that prior range high, and we are now trading up into the bottom side of the 9 EMA, the question here is, can Tesla work itself back inside of this range? If Tesla can get back over kind of this 660 area here, it could easily start to slide back inside of this range and work its way back up to 700. So maybe there's a trade here where we could get kind of a quick day trade on this move back up into this range here. But really 700, that's going to be the super key level to keep an eye on Maybe as early as next week. Maybe it kind of takes all of next week to get up there. But if we get back up to 700 and the sellers that were up there that stuffed price down so aggressively, if they get taken out, this thing could really explode to the upside, because there's no telling how many shorts piled in here or how many existing shorts added to their positions here. So if that 700 goes, you have to believe that that's going to be a huge line in the sand for shorts, and this thing could really just explode to the upside. Now, in terms of technical levels, obviously you have the swing high right here on this particular day, which is at 780.79. Now, just looking at your mathematical levels from a Fibonacci retracement level here, the 123.6 here would bring you up to 736. The 382 would bring you up to 758. And that 50% would bring you up to 776, which is lining up pretty nicely with the swing high here and the basing of all of this kind of range action that we had back here. So I would say that realistically, if the sellers get taken out at 700 and Tesla explodes inside of this pocket here, these are going to be the levels that I'd be looking for. At least 736, more realistically, probably a move up to the 750s. And then anything over that would be a real big bonus, getting as high as possibly 800. Though maybe a 100-point move is possible here for Tesla if we see significant momentum and we see significant squeeze. So at a minimum, watch that 700, see if those sellers get taken out, and look for a breakout higher up into these levels to the upside. All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up there. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you do hit that like button, leave me any comments below, and I wish you guys all the best. Have a great and green week of trading. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.